Yo, what's up everyone? Patrick here, welcome back. And in this video, what we got to do is take these two expressions here, simplify them, and then state restrictions. So exact same steps are going to apply. First thing we do, check if we can factor anything. So notice over here in number 1, we'll have an x plus 2, and then this x squared minus 6x plus 9, that actually factors into x minus 3 to the power of 2. And then we have this minus x plus 1 over x minus 3. Notice nothing factors in this second expression. This here, if you factor it, it's x minus 3 times x minus 3. It's a perfect square trinomial. And then from here, before simplifying, what you want to do is get the restrictions. And so notice there's only one factor in the denominators to work with, this x minus 3. So basically, x minus 3 cannot equal 0, which means x cannot equal 3. So that is the only restriction for this question here. And then from here, what you want to do is you want to combine these into one fraction. Now, notice that we have an x minus 3 and we have an x minus 3 to the power of 2. So notice that the lowest common denominator between both of these is going to be this x minus 3 to the power of 2. So we're going to have to multiply this by x minus 3, and then we're going to have to multiply the top by x minus 3. It's kind of like if we had, let's say, something over 9 plus something over 3, right? This is like the squared expression, and then this is the single expression. What's the lowest common denominator between 9 and 3? It's just 9. We multiply this by 3. We're going to multiply the top by 3. We're doing the exact same thing here, just with variables. So from here, what you want to do is, if we continue this here, if we combine these now into one fraction, we would end up with x plus 2 minus x plus 1 times x minus 3. And then this is going to be all over x minus 3 to the power of 2, like that. And now from here, what you want to do is you want to simplify that numerator. So we would have x plus 2 minus, in square brackets, we would, remember, we're going to subtract this whole thing here. So if we FOIL this out, we would end up with x squared minus 2x minus 3, like that. And then to simplify this, you want to distribute that negative inside the bracket. So you'd have negative x squared, then you'd have 2x plus x, which would give us 3x. And then we'd have 2 minus negative 3, which would be like 2 plus 3. Which would give us positive 5. And then what you want to do is you want to check if this factors. This is going to be the numerator up there. You want to check if the numerator factors, because you never know, something might further cancel out. And this actually doesn't factor. We could take out a negative, but that's about it. Can't factor. There's no two numbers that multiply to negative 5 and add up to negative 3. So this here actually ends up being the final numerator. So if I write this out, I'll have negative x squared minus 3x minus 5 all over x minus 3 to the power of 2. So that's the simplified answer. That's the final answer right there. And then that is the restriction. Now moving on to number 2, what we want to do is follow the exact same steps. So what we want to do is we first want to factor what we can. So notice we have this x plus 2 up top. Now this 4x squared minus 25, if you notice, that's a difference of squares, so that would be 2x minus 5. And then we'll have a 2x plus 5. All right, this factors into that. And then over here, this can factor too. It's a little tougher to see. Let's maybe run the actual steps for the decomposition here, get some practice in. So 4 times 25 gives us 100. And then the b value is negative 20. So what two numbers multiply to positive 100 and add up to negative 20? Well, it would be negative 10 and negative 10. Right? Negative 10 plus negative 10 gives us negative 20. Negative 10 times negative 10 gives us positive 100. So we would decompose this middle term into minus 10x plus 25. And then from here, what we could do is we factor by grouping. So we could take out a 2x over here. So we'd be left with 2x minus 5. And then notice from here, we could take out a minus 5. So we'd be left with 2x minus 5 over here. Take out the 2x minus 5, right? What are we left with? 2x minus 5 again. So this is actually a perfect square trinomial. It factors into 2x minus 5 to the power of 2. Right, so this would be 2x minus 5 to the power of 2, like that. And now what we want to do is we want to get the restrictions. So we factored everything. Now we take these factors in the denominators, find out when they equal 0. At those x values, you can't have those x values because they're going to make the denominators equal to 0. So basically, notice 2x minus 5 cannot equal 0, which means x cannot equal positive 5 over 2. And then 2x plus 5 cannot equal 0, which means x cannot equal negative 5 over 2. Right, so x cannot equal plus or minus 5 over 2. That's another way to write it. So now we have the restrictions. Now what we could do is we can simplify this. So we're going to combine this into one fraction. So we need a lowest common denominator. Now what's the lowest common denominator going to be between 2x minus 5, 2x plus 5, and then 2x minus 5 to the power of 2? Well, if you look at all of these, it's actually going to be 2x minus 5 to the power of 2 times 2x plus 5. That's going to be the lowest common denominator. Notice here, there's a 2x minus 5 missing, and then over here, there's a 2x plus 5 missing. And so this top here, we're going to have to multiply by 2x minus 5, and then this here, we're going to have to multiply by 2x plus 5 like that. Right, so if we make this look a little nicer, combine it into one fraction, we'll basically have x plus 2 times 2x minus 5 minus x plus 3 times 2x plus 5, and then this is going to be all over 2x minus 5, 2x minus 5 to the power of 2, and then 2x plus 5, like that. And now we just have to simplify this numerator over here. So what we would do is we would FOIL out this bracket. So if we FOIL this out, we would end up with 2x squared. What's that middle term going to be? It's going to be 4x minus 5x. So it's going to be negative x. And then we're going to have negative 10. Right, let me just double check that. Yeah, seems all good to me. So this is these two brackets expanded and simplified. And then we're going to subtract, we got to FOIL out these two brackets. Now I'm going to give myself some room here. So you know what, I'll just write this final restriction up here. X cannot equal plus or minus 5 over 2. Like that. So if we FOIL out this here, we would end up with 2x squared. We'll have 6x plus 5x, which would give us 11x. And then we'll have 15. Like that. And then this is going to be all over that same denominator of 2x minus 5 to the power of 2. 2x plus 5, like that. Now notice that here we're going to have to distribute this negative inside the bracket. The 2x squareds would actually cancel out. Then we'll have negative 1x minus 11x, which would give us negative 12x. Then we'll have negative 10 minus 15, which would give us negative 25. And that's going to be all over 2x minus 5 to the power of 2, and then we'll have 2x plus 5. All right, and then from here you want to see, can that numerator factor further? And unfortunately it can't. We could take out a negative So if we do take out a negative, this would turn into a positive. So we can maybe have it look like that. But other than that, there's nothing we could take out from the 12 and 25. So this here ends up being the final answer, and then those are the two restrictions.